Hey guys, Jack Bennett here from iCanPlayDrums.com. Welcome to another custom studio lesson. Today's lesson really sums up why I'm really excited about the whole student-driven model that we are doing now, because it's giving me new perspectives on this very specific problems and obstacles that people have, and it gives me a unique way of teaching very specific to that person. So today's lesson is from Henny van Gemet from the Netherlands. Henny, I do apologize if I've pronounced your name wrong. My father-in-law is Dutch, so I should have checked with him first. In fact, I might get him to pronounce it later. Now, Henny has written in a really awesome email. Thanks for taking the time to write such a great email, Henny. Basically, he plays heel down and he wants to transfer to heel up because he feels that some of the patterns that he wants to play, some of the faster stuff like faster doubles and so forth, would be played much easier if he was playing heel up. I predominantly play heel up, so I'm going to give you how I would approach moving from heel down to heel up. Getting back to what I was saying with the custom studio, in the past I just would have taught heel up, but to teach it from already being a heel down player and then moving, it's a different thing. So thank you, Henny, for writing in with your question, and I hope that what I teach you today helps. So first of all, you can get speed by playing heel down. Look at Buddy Rich. There's a whole bunch of people out there that played heel down and had phenomenal speed. A lot of people today play heel up. I certainly do, and as I said, I play it predominantly. I feel that when you play heel up and you're essentially now pivoting at the hip, like the hip flexor, you therefore have the entire upper leg to help contribute to the speed and the power of the stroke. When you play heel down, you've got your gravity going through your heel, and the majority of the work, without getting into the full mechanics of it, the majority of the work happens in the lower leg. Now, the lower leg can be strong, and drummers often have quite strong calf muscles. I know that my right calf muscle is significantly bigger than my left, which always looks pretty funny when I wear shorts. But absolutely, you can get a lot of stuff done with heel down technique, but the majority of the players I'm seeing these days are playing heel up. Now, I must confess, my technique with heel up is a little bit naughty in the sense that I know a lot of people are very adamant that you shouldn't bury the beater, but I do. And I'm not changing. I probably should change at some point. The argument against burying the beater being, of course, that you wouldn't hit a drum and bury the beater because you would not get any resonance. And absolutely, and when I see students go, when they're just starting out and they've never played before and so on, I'm always like, whoa, don't bury the beater, don't buzz, don't stab, make sure you rebound and so on. For the sound that I like in a contemporary or a commercial setting, which is a very dead punchy sound, I find it doesn't make too much difference. Of course, there will be more bottom end if I rebound back, but I find if the drum, especially if I'm using like a 22-inch bass drum, the sound is fine as is. And that was the way I learnt. I remember watching some videos when I just started out with drums, and the drummers that I were watching played with burying the beater, and I thought, okay, that's how it's done. And so I just went with that. So I've sort of done that my whole life. So I'll be teaching you the way that I do it. And if this is good for you, then go ahead and play the way that I'm playing. Now, the only instance for me where I will play heel down really is kind of like in a jazz context. If I'm playing a bass drum that has been tuned higher, like an 18-inch bass drum, and you definitely don't want to be burying the beater in that kind of drum because it really would sound like a floor tom instead of going like that. It really would sound like you're going and sound very, very strange. Then I do play heel down, but normally I'm heel up and I do bury the beater. All right, so the main thing that you need to get used to, Henny, is really the transfer of body weight. So at the moment, if you're playing heel down all the time, you're going to be used to being kind of secured by having your body weight going through your heels. But obviously, you have to have your body weight going through somewhere. So at the moment, it may be like a balance issue for you. You may feel that it just feels really strange moving the body weight from the back of your foot to the front of your foot. Before we get into changing over, I want to make mention of one thing. I've said that I play heel up. I'm talking about my bass drum technique when I say that. If I'm playing hi-hat, there are so many different ways of playing the hi-hat. I absolutely play both heel up and heel down all the time. I don't know, I've never recorded it, but if I was playing even 10 seconds worth of drumming, I would be transitioning between playing heel up and heel down. In fact, the majority of the time I might even be playing heel down. So if I was playing heel up on the hi-hat, it might be more of an instance where I'm playing like fast hi-hat chicks, something like that. So like I bounce my leg in time on the crotchet and even an in-between kind of quaver. You can sort of see my left foot is going da 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 da. All right, so that's what my left foot's doing there, and you can see I'm playing heel up because the amount of time that my leg is actually in the air is not much. So it doesn't matter if I pivot at my hip flexor and the entire leg comes up and down. It's only for a split second, so it's not like I'm going to fall into the drum. The problem is if you play heel up for slow tempos. That's the problem. If I'm doing a hi-hat chicken going like that, then the problem that I've got is I've got this comparatively heavy weight pulling me forward because it's suspended in midair now. It's not on the ground, so I'm not grounded. And it's suspended in midair. Okay, granted, my foot may still be touching the pedal. I'm not coming completely off the pedal. But what do I have to do? I have to counterbalance instinctively, or I've got to kind of tense up here to make sure, kind of twist and tense up to make sure I don't fall into the hi-hat. Now, obviously, assuming that you know how to walk and balance and whatnot, we learn all of this stuff when we're a baby, when we're a little kid. So you're going to instinctively do that anyway. You're not going to have to think, oh, gee, I better counterbalance so I don't fall over. But I see this again when I teach, especially kids or beginning students, and they're trying to. I notice it especially when we get into like hi-hat glisses and you're doing for the first time, especially if it's slow and they're just learning, starting out, and they play heel up and they go, okay. Because they're lifting their foot up for half a second, that's a significant amount of time. You can fall over in half a second. So because that body weight is pulling them forward, they're leaning back. And you find that across a bar of time, they're wobbling all over the joint. And obviously the idea is to be perfectly balanced as you play. All right. So if you're playing slow tempo stuff with the left foot, play heel down. Okay. All right. If I'm playing slow jazz. You can see I'm playing heel down there. If I'm speeding up, round about here, I transition. We're at medium tempo. Now we're getting quicker. Obviously, at that point, when it's getting really fast, absolutely, it's heel up. Okay, same in Latin jazz. If it was slower, I'd be heel down. Okay, so it's very much a tempo-dependent thing as well. Obviously, there are other sounds too, like if you're doing a hi-hat splash, that has to be heel down, really. Okay? If you're playing heel-toe technique, it depends whatever you're hitting at the time. My body weight's going through my heel, and then it's going through the ball of my foot when I close. All right. So I wanted to make that point, spend a bit of time talking about that when you're transitioning to heels up, we're really mainly talking about bass drum technique. And if you're playing a double pedal, obviously what I'm talking about pertains to both pedals, but it doesn't really pertain to hi-hat technique as much. So, Henny, the first thing that I would do in transitioning from heels down to heels up is, first of all, get some sense of the position of your ball of your foot on your foot plate. Don't put it all the way forward at the pedal like the shape of the pedal kind of indicates. It's really, in my opinion, you get a better sense of the spring on the bass drum pedal if it's about 2/3 of the way up. I'm talking about where the ball of the foot makes contact on the pedal here. And just, first of all, just get used to what that feels like, okay? You're pivoting now at the upper leg. So yes, your whole leg is going to come up a few inches and just throwing it down. And if you've been doing this the whole time, heel down, that you can see my leg hardly even moves, okay? Because as we talked about at the start, all of the action is happening in the lower leg. Now you're using your whole leg. So you're just coming up and throwing down. You can see my heel comes up, but I'm also pivoting at the hip flexor a bit. And down we go. And I can get a lot more speed and power, whether it's a groove thing or it's a pattern thing like a fill. When I play heel up. That's just me though, because I've spent time doing this, okay? So that would be the first thing, getting used to feeling what it feels like to now put your body weight through the balls of your feet. That's going to feel weird for a little while because it's been so long since you've done that, okay? Next, we're going to check out some basic patterns that deal with this. So obviously, once you're comfortable with that, let's have a look at involving some of the other limbs. Now, the first thing that we'll do, you mentioned doubles. First thing that we're going to just play doubles between the feet, and in this instance, we will play both heels up. So we're going to go right, right, left, left. Just get used to that. It should just feel like your body weight is going through both pedals, no problem, okay? And when I play this, I don't feel like I'm leaning one side to the other. I hope I don't fall over or whatever. Perfectly natural, okay? Faster. Now, I'm no expert on playing doubles between my feet, but this is still a good exercise. Okay, obviously we want to include the hands. So we're going to start it really slow, and we're going to go right, left, foot, foot. These are just basic exercises, and that's fine. It might be a little bit humbling in the beginning. You know, this is not a particularly complex exercise, and you may have found that when you're playing heel down, that you were playing this really quick. But it's about the accuracy of the notes, of course, but it's just about getting the feel of the balance now. You want to make sure that you're balanced. Okay, balance is the most important thing about drums. Groove is the most important thing about drums. If we're looking at it from a four-limb activity, if we're constantly off balance and falling all over the place, we got to go back to scratch and figure out what's going on. All right, so when you get a bit of speed on that, then you can start moving around the kit. Now, I just want to talk finally about the transition of technique from two leg strokes into a leg and an ankle. For me, this is how I do it, and it's always worked really well for me, and I think that if you practice it, it'll work really well for you too. I approach the way that I play doubles with my right foot the exact same way that I approach playing doubles with my right hand. Let me explain it. When I play doubles with my right hand, when I'm playing slow, I do two wrist strokes, okay? So I'm not using really the fingers at this point. I'm certainly not using the finger snap or anything yet because I don't need to. I'm just using my slower gear, if you like. All right, so you can see that my wrist is definitely moving up and down twice. When I get fast, I do... You can see the wrist only goes down once because the wrist isn't fast. It's really stable, it's really strong, and that's great. And it's not like we transition from only using wrist to only using fingers or anything silly like that. We're not robots. But what I do when I play fast is I do a wrist stroke and then a finger snap. I snap the fingers and pull the stick back as well for the next one. Okay, so if I do a fast double, you can see my wrist only went down once, but I got two notes, whereas when I played the double slow, I used two wrists. Okay, now I do the same thing with my bass drum technique, and I highly recommend that you do as well. So when I play slower, I use more leg, okay, so more upper leg. So up and down twice, whether I'm burying or not. And when I speed up, you'll notice that my leg only goes down once. I play the second note with my ankle, and that's how I get it. So you can see there, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, two notes, but my legs only pivoting at the hip flexor once, okay? Whereas when it was slow, it was twice. So that's really important. And from there, you need to decide, are you going to use... Most people slide forward on the pedal, go like... like that. I do that sometimes, and sometimes I use the swivel, where my ankle goes left. So you don't have to just play doubles like as a subdivision of 2 or 4. Like you can do it as like triplets. So it might be something like, or so like fills. Or it might be like a groove. All right, so Henny, I hope you enjoyed that lesson. I hope it helps. Again, the main thing is to just start really slow and get used to what it feels like putting your body weight through the balls of your feet rather than the heels. Practice those patterns. email me back. I'd love to know, like in a couple of months, how you're going, if you've made progress with it, and we'll revisit it if you're still having problems. Okay, guys, if you have any questions at all, iCanPlayDrums.com, Custom Studios, where it's at. We want to hear from you, and we will film lessons like this that are custom to your specific concerns. All right, until next time, thanks for watching. Hi and welcome to iCanPlayDrums.com Custom Studio. With iCanPlayDrums Custom Studio, we do things a little bit differently than most monthly subscription drum lesson sites. Our lessons start with and are driven by you. Each week, our subscribers email us what they want to learn next. It could be a specific issue they have with their technique, their reading, a new style, drum solos, how to do gigs, and we film expert lessons addressing our subscribers' specific problems. With the thousands of free YouTube lessons and a plethora of subscription sites around, it can be tough to get heard if you have things you want addressed. We don't dictate what lessons you will learn next in a fixed curriculum. We listen to your emails and chats and build customized video lessons specific to your goals every single week. Our lessons are filmed in multi-angles along with our EasyBeat clips and additional resources like play-along MP3s and printable PDFs. Student lesson requests are submitted via email by any given Friday. Lessons are filmed over the weekend and go live the following Monday through Thursday. Each week, one of these lessons is uploaded free to YouTube to help put the word out to future subscribers. Our input into helping you achieve your goals doesn't stop there. With iCanPlayDrums Custom Studio, we're committed to giving you real lesson progression so you get measurable results. At the bottom of these custom lessons, we provide you with subsequent lessons that build in a natural and logical progression, so you keep improving and don't lose your way. Sign up is easy and instant, and the pricing is about 1/10 what you would pay in a year of weekly lessons. Click the link below to get started.